And welcome into Arena Soccer here on YouTube and MASL TV. Gary Stein along with Paul Mittermeier and Andrew Primrose, your Blast broadcasters. Tonight the Blast back in action against the St. Louis Ambush here at CQ Arena. Blast are 3-1 on the season off an 8-5 win last night here at CQ over Ontario. St. Louis 0-5, one of 3 winless teams in the MASL. And Paul, we often talk about the balance that the Blast display offensively. A lot of players scoring goals, making assists, etc. It wasn't that wasn't true last night, but last night it was their 2 biggest offensive players that kind of carried the load.
Yeah, Gary, a game last night where the Blast probably didn't play their best soccer, but somehow, some way they battled through and got a win. And a big reason for that, obviously, Vinny Dantas with the disputed hat trick. Some say that Lucas Roque tapped the ball in on his last goal. Dantas indeed got credit for the goal, but the true legitimate hat trick going to Tony Donatelli. He was the other big-time player for the Blast last night. Donatelli did it a little bit of every fashion. You know, he got the Blast rolling, got him on the board on a defensive miscue by Ontario to give him a 1-0 lead. He then scored a shootout goal and then scored a power play goal. So got it done a lot of different ways last night, Donatelli did, to give the Blast some breathing room and get that 8-5 victory.
Blast had 3 power play goals and a restart goal last night, so 4 special teams goals for the Blast last night. Meanwhile, St. Louis not doing too well. They're the only one of 3 winless teams in the MASL. They were beaten by Harrisburg last night 8-3. For more on the Ambush, let's go down the field to Andrew Primrose.
Well, it's been a rough go for St. Louis since their return to the league 5 years ago. And that continued last night in a game in Harrisburg. The final score 8-3 there, but it looked a little closer than that. At halftime, only a 1-goal deficit for the St. Louis Ambush. And as I mentioned, it's been a tough go for them. 1-19 last year, 0-5 so far this year. In fact, in the 6 seasons since they've come back, only 18 wins in those 6 seasons. So for St. Louis, they're looking to gather some momentum, make the turn, get back to being a competitive team. And it's interesting, last night we saw a team the Blast hadn't seen ever in Ontario, and now a team that they've got some history with in St. Louis.
St. Louis on the Blast, about to get set. First up, though, our national anthem. Ready to get this one underway here at the CQ Arena. The Blast are 3-1 on the season. They've won all 3 games here at home. 1-goal victories over Cedar Rapids and Syracuse, the 3-goal win last night over Ontario, a 1-goal loss at Florida a couple weeks back. And the Blast continue their home dominance here at CQ. In their last 65 home games, the Blast are 60-5 over the last 6 years in the league. Goalkeepers tonight for St. Louis. It'll be Paulo Nascimento, who has been basically their keeper all year. Nascimento on the season comes in with a record of 0-4. He says 788 goals against, 598 save percentage. And for the Blast, of course, William Van Zella On the season, Vanzella 3-1, a 580 goals against, a 685 save percentage. Not the stellar numbers that you have come to expect from Vanzella, but in the type of atmosphere we have here in the shorter field, still playing stellar soccer for the Blast. St. Louis coached by Everton. He will play as well, and Jamie Swanner, one of their great alums who played back in the 90s as a goalkeeper. And the Blast, of course, coached by Danny Kelly and David Bascom. Paul, to you on the back-to-back. So the Blast didn't get a lot of rest. Neither of these teams get a lot of rest. What does that mean to these teams on a short field like this?
I don't think it matters much. When you have a situation where both teams play 2 in 2 days, I think it pretty much evens out. Really the struggle becomes when you play the night before, travel, and then go somewhere and play where somebody else has been sitting waiting for you. I think that makes a big difference. But tonight it shouldn't be too much of a factor, I think, with these two clubs. If anything, I think it hurts St. Louis more to have to play in Harrisburg last night, travel down to Baltimore, and then play again here early this evening. So I think, if anything, the Blast have a little bit of an advantage there.
Well, the one thing that is nice for them is people don't understand the geography of the Eastern Seaboard. Harrisburg and Baltimore are not far away from each other, only about an hour drive apart. So I'm sure St. Louis was able to stay either in Harrisburg or Baltimore last night, not have to take a flight, which is a huge advantage. Sometimes when those teams have to play going, in a flight on an East Coast on the back-to-back, that's really affects their ability to recover.
Both of these cities, St. Louis and Baltimore, have great local soccer traditions. We all know about Baltimore's in the Highlandtown neighborhood back from the 1910s and 20s. A lot of great soccer players who have played locally and nationally and internationally, for that matter, have all come from the eastern, East Baltimore area. For St. Louis, they have a great history as well. Soccer was basically started in St. Louis in 1907. They've had outdoor and indoor teams, and probably the greatest moment for St. Louis in soccer history was 1950 in the World Cup when the U.S. defeated England, one of the greatest upsets in World Cup history. 5 of the 11 starters on that U.S. team were from St. Louis. So this town has a great tradition of soccer. They have, as you mentioned, Andrew, fallen on hard times of late in terms of the indoor game. This is really a struggling franchise, which was once a proud franchise.
Well, they're struggling on the field, but off the field doing some great things. Attendance up. I know they're having a great viewing party tonight at Hat Trick's Bar in St. Louis. So they got a great fan base. They have a good supporter base. Online presence is good. And I think they're looking to have the on-field product match the off-field support that they're getting.
I mean, I think, Paul, Baltimore really has to count its blessings. It's all about ownership. It's all about stable ownership, good ownership. And Baltimore's had one for years. And St. Louis has struggled in that. And most teams really have struggled in that in terms of the arena game.
No question. What Ed's been able to do here in Baltimore has been pretty amazing. He's made a commitment to winning, and the stability in the coaching staff as well has been huge. And it's been spectacular. I don't talk about the championship wins as much as I talk about the championship appearances. To do that, to do what they've done back to back to back to back for so many years, to get there, whether they win or lose a championship, just to get there for so many years in a row is pretty remarkable.
And to put that to numbers, this whole run really started in 2003. So 15 years, 12 championship appearances in 15 years, 8 championships in that time.
That's called spoiling your fans, right?
Over and over. St. Louis in white, the Blast in red. The ambush will have it started from right to left. Here we go, the ambush and the Blast. Blast tied for first. Oh. That's what you got to do. And Nascimento, their goalkeeper, Paulo Nascimento, has the right idea.
Just missed. That would have been a stunner. 8 seconds into the game?
Paul, you and I were talking with David Bascom last night. We were joking about maybe starting the game with 6th attacker. And St. Louis is almost doing that right now as Nascimento is playing the field.
Very active goalkeeper. He kicks it up over the boards here, so it'll be a goalkeeper distribution. Blast are tied for first with Harrisburg. Can't wait till these two teams meet this year in the East. Right now, St. Louis in the cellar in the West. I'm sorry, in the Central.
That first meeting with Harrisburg here in Baltimore is January 6th, the first game of the new year.
The Ambush have the right idea, guys. They're coming out, they're pressuring, and they are attacking the Blast right now.
And that's what the coaching staff for the Blast expected. seen it on film. St. Louis has been challenging teams, and they expected it here on the short field.
Tonight's officials, Brian Miller is the senior referee. Sean Papperman is the referee. The assistant is Robert Faraday. It'll be a goalkeeper distribution coming up for Nascimento. Starters for the Blast: Healy, Donatelli, Pereira, Dantas, and Santana. For St. Louis, Almeida, Matthews, Nascimento in goal, Pepe, and Moreira, Everton, along with Pablo De Silva, Vanzella in goal for the Blast. De Silva may be a familiar name. He played with, he was just acquired in a deal that sent Victor France to Cedar Rapids. De Silva was here on opening night, had 2 points, a goal and an assist against the Blast. Blast now on their own end. Nascimento for Baltimore sends it back to the keeper. And tipped by an ambush defender. Here's the distribution up ahead. And a foul called as hitting the turf was Jamie Thomas.
And Duarte fouled him, and that call was made from the far side official. The near side official was running with the play and didn't see it, but the whistle blew from the far side.
Axel Duarte was also just acquired in that deal with Cedar Rapids. Duarte on the year, 4 goals, 2 assists, 6 points total. That was a good trade for both teams. France has been here in St. Louis for a while, and De Silva and Duarte will give some speed and athleticism to the St. Louis lineup. Here's Everton on the defense in front of Vanzella. Ball is tipped away. Here's Hernandez at the yellow line with Thomas. And the Blast now trying to, well, they get it. They do get it away. Here's Roque now with the left. They'll try to go boards perhaps. Comes in on the goalkeeper. Nice kick save and a deflection by the goalkeeper Nascimento.
We talk about the Blast learning the boards. Roque that time finally figured out which angle to play the boards and where he can win the ball back to himself. And that was a nifty little play down the boards. Didn't amount to anything, but a nifty little play by Lucas Roque.
It's the Blast.
I'm sorry, go.
It's the Blast make a switch. Daniel Peruzzi getting his first shift of the night. Of course, a scratch last night, and then back on to play tonight. Looks for big things here as he had to sit out last night's game. Fresh legs for a player that talented.
Nascimento with the save on a drive from Hoxie. Hoxie defending the outlet. Well played into the corner for Almeida.
Right away, Peruzzi on defense sweeps the ball out.
One thing we should note for everybody that watched the broadcast last night, we were complimenting Ricky Greensfelder on his first appearance, and it turned out we were wondering what happened with Nick Tate and his appearance. And it turned out he was wearing, Nick Tate was wearing Greensfelder's jersey. So all the compliments we gave Nicky, which, you know, I'm sure he's a great player too, but all those compliments were actually meant for Nicholas Tate, who made his premiere last night wearing another jersey.
And ironically, both Tate and Greensfelder are out of the lineup tonight for the Blast. As Peruzzi back in. There's a drive, upper 90, and it bends in for St. Louis. They take a 1-0 lead. See who gets the goal on that for the ambush.
Here's a replay. Nice cut back there, and
that's
Pedalera. Yep.
Pedalera gets the goal. And for him, that is the first goal of the year. And the time of the goal is 2:58 of the first. St. Louis leads.
Right away, De Silva gets an assist.
De Silva scoring his 3rd point in 2 games against the Blast. 1-0 St. Louis early here at the CQ Arena. And a goalkeeper distribution upcoming as the drive by Pereira goes over the boards. Last night, game started out slow with Ontario. It was 1-1 after 1 period of play. And then it got heated up in the second. Teams combined for 5 goals, back to the 4-3 lead at the half. Almeida for St. Louis. They elect to roll it out from the back. Blast with pressure with Pereira. Dantas in there as well. And a turnover here. And you can see who this is off of. Out of bounds. Looks like it'll go with the Blast.
And Duarte deflected it out of the play.
Blast have Elton on the field along with John Mello, Pereira, Dantas, and Healy. Healy tries to send one through. It's kicked away by Duarte. And now St. Louis comes the other way with it. 3.5 minutes into the first. The ambush drawing first blood here in Towson. Gerger Gibson gets a foot on it, former Blast player. Becomes a pretty big figure in the indoor game.
Look at that move.
Dantas, right on. Ooh, that was close to the line.
Speaking of big figures, Vinny Dantas powering through.
This one hits the post from about 50 feet away. I think the ambush have the right idea.
Shoot the ball.
Just hit it. That's the third shot taken by the goalkeeper. Blaster in for a battle tonight.
If you're 1-23 in your last 24 games, you're coming on the back end of a road trip and you're playing the back-to-back defending champions
Just do
at
it.
their house. What do you got to lose?
Right.
Shoot the ball.
Good ball up ahead. Nice work here, getting Roque open. And try to give it back to Donatelli. That one broken up inside the box. Now the Blast will pressure.
That was a great defensive play to keep it in play and not just clear it, but keep it in play and not give up illegal procedure. Good ball.
Donatelli trying to slip one through to Roque.
3
Here
on
comes
2.
Lucas now towards the goal. Lucas with the left, blocked with a knee, corner of the box by Nascimento. He's done well. Now off the line. Another good shot from the corner. Still, Blast hold on to it now with less than 10 minutes to go in the first. DeSantos, the step over.
Blast have gotten some early chances. A couple of 2-on-1s and a 3-on-2.
That was a really good job by Nascimento there with Roque, time and space to dance, and Nascimento not overcommitting, playing the ball, not the fakes.
Here's Pedalera now at the yellow line. He'll circle back. Pepe with it in the midfield. Blast go with DeSantos, Mello, Roque, Thomas, and Elton. Here comes the goalkeeper again to midfield. Nascimento, he'll hit it again. Through the box, intended for Gibson.
Leading the ambush in shots so far.
He is. That's why I wouldn't consider that a shot, but he's got 3 shots. They're not technically playing sixth attacker, but they're basically doing it. They're certainly willing to do it. Maybe that's the ticket. Blaster on their heels.
Well, and it's funny because we criticized Ontario last night for not going to sixth attacker down at the end of the game, especially with the Blast struggles in sixth attacker defense. And so you see St. Louis doing a quasi sixth attacker here early on and having some success.
8:40 now left in the first. The ambush have the lead. Everton. This will be a goal kick upcoming for Vanzella. Everton and Jamie Swarner, co-coaches in St. Louis. The ambush actually come in with a 19-game losing streak. They lost 14 in a row at the end of last year, and their first 5 this year. They are 1-24 in the last 2 years. Free kick Blast now. Santos quickly up ahead for Hoxie. Best mustache in the league. There's Nascimento, had some really good action last night. Very poised rookie.
Nice footwork there by Hoxie to pass that ball on.
Donatelli had the hat trick last night. Tony with 93 career goals in a Blast uniform, 104 games. That's pretty good, right?
That's really good.
Here's Healy now, he's got some space. Dumps it in the corner to Hoxie. Blast patient here, trailing by 1.
St. Louis just playing straight man-to-man, and so far so good defensively, getting the job done.
They offer pressure right away. As Pedalera came in on Vanzella.
And Pereira missed a wide open Pat Healy streaking down the far side. Blast would have had a scoring opportunity if Pereira had seen him.
Donatelli lets it play through. And maybe he didn't want to do that. 7:25 left to go. It'll be a free kick for St. Louis. That pushing foul called on Hoxie.
It's one of those ones where Hoxie's size has disadvantage. Looks bad when a guy as big as him standing next to a guy that falls down.
You know, playing St. Louis, I'm now reminded, I don't know if you guys remember, but back in the old ambush days in the NPSL, we're going back 20 years, they had a guy named Steve Kuntz. Oh, look at this by Vanzella, who read it beautifully.
He was diving before the ball was there.
That was the big chest save right there.
He needed to because he was out of the box.
Well out of the box.
Getting back to Steve Kuntz. Steve Kuntz was a big scorer for St. Louis. He had to build epoxy. He was about 6'4", 6'5", and fit. But excellent footwork. It was Koontz, Moser, and Daryl Duran. Big guys. Joe Reiniger, also a big scorer. Actually, Reiniger may be the biggest of them all. There's Hernandez in the midfield. Now Pereira will try to run it down to the corner. Hernandez all over that. And towards the goal. Manzella comes up on the post. This has been a fast-paced game, not a lot of play stoppage. And a steal. It's 3-on-1 in the box. This hit. That would have been a great chance for St. Louis.
If you're St. Louis, you got to take advantage of that. Just a breakdown by the Blast. Nascimento just kind of gave that away in his own side over in that corner, and St. Louis couldn't cash in.
It's really been all St. Louis through 9 minutes of the game. 6:02 left in the first. Ambush 1, Blast nothing. Back after this.
Nothing feels better than when my Megabank treats me like a number.
Burned out by poor Megabank service? Life's better when you seek you. With a smile. With a friend. Any way you need. And wherever life takes you. So, do you seek you?
Back at you here from the CQ Arena. Gary Stein, Paul Niemeyer, Andrew Primrose. St. Louis Ambush 0-5 on the year, leading the Blast 1-0. Pedalera with a goal at the 2:58 mark from Pablo de Silva. And really the story right now, the game call, is the aggressiveness of St. Louis.
Well, the Ambush taking it to the Blast right now. I think the Blast kind of going through the paces. Gonna have to pick up the intensity as we go through here.
Andrew, what's it like down there on the sideline?
Well, Coach Danny Kelly reminding his guys to do the small things, little things that they have to focus on early on to match that intensity. Again, we talked with David Bascom about this last night. It's learning how to play on this field and changing the style of play and not thinking about it so much, just reacting, learning to feel it and stop thinking. And when you start thinking on a field this small, the mistakes multiply. Sometimes you just have to have the instinct and go with it.
Manzella for the Blast, near post. And again, they pressure.
And again, the Blast passing deep in their own zone, which is always trouble in this field.
Good work here by the Blast, and it's over the boards. Mello tried to connect with Thomas. It's a kick in for St. Louis.
Well, if you can beat the pressure, it leads to odd man rushes and just a tough break for the Blast there as the ball went over the boards.
Well, that was a guessing game for Thomas there as he tried to figure out whether he was going to. Foul called here.
On Mello.
Mello was spilled, number 13.
On it for St. Louis will be De Silva, just acquired from Cedar Rapids. Moves swiftly past Dantas. He'll hit it towards the box. Broken up by Healy. Nascimento, their goalkeeper, comes right back at it. And boy, just busting in there was Gibson for the ambush. Busting out now is Healy, and that play broken up with a foul called.
Holding foul
in the midfield. A call on Almeida. Coming up on 5 minutes left here in the first. There's Manzella taking a turn past midfield.
Almost connected with Donatelli on the near side.
That one headed away by Duarte. It'll be a kick in now for the Blast inside the St. Louis yellow line. Less than 5 minutes to go in the first quarter of a 1-0 game. Donatelli puts it in! Far post! That was probably the least likely scenario that St. Louis was thinking about. And now, wait a minute.
What are they complaining about?
That's a goal. 1-1 is the score, and the big guy comes through again. And it's another special teams goal.
Well, Tony's on a heater. Here's the replay.
I don't. St. Louis a little confused about the rules. They're calling for an indirect kick. Everything in indoor soccer is direct. And now Duarte's going to get a yellow card sent off for dissent.
Five minutes for dissent.
So the newest, well, one of the newest members of St. Louis in the box for the next 5 minutes as he argues back against that. Not really sure. I mean, it's every shot or every foul, it's a direct shot.
Fifth goal of the year for Donatelli, his fourth in 2 nights. He's got 8 points, 94th career in a Blast uniform, his 131st career overall. Time to go 10:02. We're tied at 1. Headed over the boards by Santana. Free kick St. Louis. Digging it out is Mello. Just wide, good idea by Pepe. Here's some space now for Peruzzi. He winds it up. Oh, a rocket from Peruzzi.
Just missed.
That was a good play by Peruzzi there, as the defender for some reason sloughed off him.
Well,
and tried to
because
stay in the middle.
Well, Andrew, because they were complaining again. They wanted a legal procedure, but Santana had directed the ball back to Vanzella with his knee and not his foot. And instead of running and making a play, the ambush were arguing the call.
That's the craftiness of a veteran like Santana to understand the situation and make the right play there.
You have no room to stop to argue on this field.
No, you just got to play. Here's Pereira now. Tries to cut it back. Gibson takes it away. Up ahead for Almeida.
Oh, nice read by William.
Dumps it into the corner. Roque going hard for it. Keeper whiffed on it at first. Nascimento brings it the other way for Almeida. And that'll roll around back to Vanzella. Everton thought about it, but really didn't have a chance there. 3:40 in the first. 1-1 the score, yep. Good chance here for the Blast. Got to hit it. Keeper with a good save, Nascimento.
It's just amazing how that one pass through the midfield turns into a 3-on-2.
And it's amazing how if you hesitate inside the yellow line, your chance could be blown. This is a much different game on this field. I think this arena soccer in general belongs on this field. Here's Thomas on the rebound. Thomas
Great
fighting
hustle.
hard. Robert Acosta got in his way.
St. Louis kind of froze there with the ball bouncing in the box, and Thomas, off his initial shot, went to chase his rebound and almost forced a goal in with effort.
Less than 3 minutes now left to play. You know, with no disrespect to the old arena, the Baltimore arena, this is new. You know, this is different. This is interesting. This is what arena soccer needs. They should all play in buildings like this, on a field like this. There's energy here.
Sure, there's a lot of action, isn't there?
No doubt. I think it's better. You know, look, I know the seating ain't, you know, there's some seats you can't see the whole field. I get it. But for the game, Pedalera inside the box. 2 minutes, 10 seconds left in the first. Mello kind of turned around on that one. Gets in a quick pass here on the near side for Corey Adamson. Going to be out of bounds off the Blast. Kick in St. Louis here. Less than 2 minutes now to play in the first.
2 minutes left on the descent penalty for Durante.
Here we go. Again, we're 1-1 as we head towards the end of the first quarter.
Carbon copy of last night. That game opened up in the second quarter. But a totally different style here. St. Louis, the aggressor. Kick save by William. William had 18 saves last night. Faced 23 shots. This is his best performance of the year. Again, the Blast try to play it from the back. St. Louis really defending that nicely, and the turnover now in midfield. Perhaps a mistake here by De Silva. He's got a chase. See if the Blast can take advantage here. Mello too strong. Pedalera 3 lines. Blast will have a restart from the yellow line.
You know, we haven't seen yet in the first 3 games here, Gary, is like the 4 or 5 goal outbursts in like 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, have not seen
that
it.
This arena is capable of yielding.
Dantas been quiet tonight so far. Here's a chance. Pedalera chested back to Vanzella, coming up on 1 minute. Here's Vinny. Good work by the ambush.
That could have easily been a yellow card there, as there was absolutely no contact. Pedalera just went straight down to the ground, and it was clearly visible there was nobody even close.
Pedalera with Mello here. That's going to be a foul on St. Louis. .39 left here in the first. Mello. Dantas.
Oh, what a save.
Took a tricky bounce off the turf.
Well, he hit it so hard that even when it was deflected and it took the bounce, it was still well meant.
And Andrew, you're right. Nascimento actually had gone down to make what he thought would be the save on a low shot, and then had to come up and stretch the body.
Incredible athleticism and reaction there.
8 seconds now. Pereira, 5 seconds. Just hit it. Nascimento just wide. Rebound. Out the buzzer, and a great save. It would have counted.
No, it wouldn't have.
Wouldn't have?
No.
You sure?
Yeah, it was after the horn.
I just make stuff up. 1-1 the score after 1, and same thing as last night. A lot of action, not a lot of scoring, but a great pace first quarter action. We'll come back with the next 15 right after this.
It's a great time to be a fan when you can come into Buffalo Wild Wings and catch the best moments in sports. Unlike in Roman times, when you could become the sport.
Is this section G?
I don't know.
I don't know. Ow.
Get the ultimate sports experience at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Hey, Don, what's going on?
Jack, you haven't heard, the new building's done. It's beautiful. We moved in, and to celebrate this month, every car is posted on the internet at invoice. You keep the rebates, and we give you 125% of Kelley Blue Book. In addition, free loaner cars, car washes, manicures for the ladies, indoor patios, outdoor patios. What could be better?
Jack says yes to invoice pricing on Corollas. Jack says yes to invoice pricing on RAV4s. Jack says yes to invoice pricing on Camrys.
Yes!
Visit Antwerp and Toyota today.
Second quarter action coming your way here from the CQ Arena, Towson, Maryland, the Blast's new home after 37 straight seasons downtown at the arena. And the Blast are kind of settling in. They're 3-0 at home. They're tied with St. Louis tonight, 1-1. Your thoughts on the first quarter?
Again, I thought St. Louis came out great with some awesome energy. They got some good looks. They even got some shots from their keeper. They really put the pressure on the Blast in the first 5 minutes. And they had a chance, much like the Blast did last night, to kind of extend things. William made a couple nice saves, and they didn't cash in on some of the opportunities. And then, just a breakdown, I don't know if St. Louis didn't understand the rules, but Donatelli's restart goal into the back of the net, not really sure what the complaint was, unless they felt like you're not allowed to kick it into the back of the net off of a restart. But I don't know, when has that not been a rule? So
not ever.
So the Blast take advantage. They tie the game. And we'll see what happens moving forward. But if you're St. Louis, you got to feel good. I mean, you're tied 1. You got through a quarter. You got good energy. You're trying to build on something here. Ultimately, for them, it's going to be will they be able to mark and play defense for 60 minutes? And I think you saw in the second quarter against Ontario last night, the Blast really took advantage of some Fury mistakes, some defensive lapses and things like that, turnovers in their own end. That's really what the Ambush have to avoid is, giving the ball away on their side. And so far, so good for them. They've done a nice job of not doing that in the first 15 minutes.
Guys, are those shots on goal correct up on the scoreboard? Is that the official stats?
I think on goal, yes.
Wow.
Now, that's not shots.
Right, that seems surprising. Shots on goal, 6-5.
6-5 St. Louis, which means that Williams got 5 saves and Nascimento has 4. Blast will have it to start the second. Yeah, it does seem low though, doesn't it?
Of course, the excellent stats crew here. I would never challenge or question
you know what?
them.
It's a good call, Andrew. We're getting the official stats right now. We'll see what they say. Robert Acosta heads it back to the keeper.
Oh, that's a nice little passing play there.
Okay, trying to break out of that. Blast moving from right to left here to start the second quarter in a tie game. Pereira, this is dangerous. Blast just
nice ball, yes.
With it. Yep, right at the yellow line. Left it a little bit too strong, and Nascimento there.
Well, that just takes a lot of skill, to be able to save the ball from the three-point from the three-line violation, be able to settle it, and then turn and create the 2-on-1, and Tony just couldn't quite finish there.
Well, not to mention the skill, but also the presence to be positioned perfectly on that yellow line. That's the veteran knowledge to be ready and there.
Just got the official stats, guys, and it is right. 6 shots total for St. Louis, 5 for the Blast. These are on goal now. And each keeper with 4 saves. 1 was blocked. Well, the Blast are credited with 1 block. So 4 saves apiece for Nascimento and for Vanzella. This one slips through the box. Gibson had a chance.
Gibson was lurking and just didn't get a good bounce.
There's Pablo. And Vanzella plays it off the boards nicely. 1.5 minutes into the second. Distribution for Thomas. Gibson basically pushes him off. Gibson trying to work on the boards, and he's double teamed, and the Blast take it away. Thomas still in control, kind of pokes it up ahead. Not much pace on that. Trying to turn it around is Pedalera. Now back to DeSantos for the Blast. Along with Mello, Santana. Roque now coming off. Peruzzi back on the floor.
He was open. He had a couple steps on his defender.
Missed chance there on the substitution.
Hoxie and Elton round out the 5 for Baltimore. Almeida, Pedalera, Gibson, along with Chris Mattingly, one of the best shot blockers in the game, out there for St. Louis. In fact, Mattingly led the MASL last year in block shots. Nice move, Peruzzi to the left. Peruzzi, and that one deflects off a St. Louis player to the goalkeeper.
He's a guy that just needs a break. 1 ball to bounce right, get off that schneid, bury a ball in the back of the net. Well, I'd love to see him break through here.
And remember, his only goal was actually an own goal, scored by Cedar Rapids. Peruzzi tripped up at the box, or at the arc. It'll be free kick Blast now with 12:06 left to go.
I think we saw that call 2 minutes last night, right?
We did. Blast took advantage of that for a power play goal. Mello will be on it. Blast will put Elton inside the box at the near post. Hoxie at the far post. Goes Hoxie, and the keeper reads it.
Yeah, he just got out in time.
Nascimento having a great game keeping St. Louis in this right now. Blast could easily have at least 3 other goals.
Toe poke by William for Hoxie. Defended there by Mattingly.
Peruzzi isolated again.
Peruzzi defended by Almeida. Now DeSantos will have to backpedal.
Real good shift there from Peruzzi. 3 shots on his shift.
Here's a good ball. Marco Nascimento for the Blast. Gets a man down. To put one on goal, and that was blocked in the middle of the box by Mattingly.
It was going to be a goal if Mattingly didn't block that because he had beaten the keeper.
There's Pereira in the box again. Mattingly right there with Hoxie. And now let's see, this is off the blast.
Duarte released as this is the first stoppage since his time expired.
That turned into like a 7.5 minute penalty.
Nascimento looking for some help. And our Nascimento kind of pressured him.
Think about all the R's and theirs that we've had. We've had the R's and theirs, Neto. What other R's and theirs have we had?
We've had Nascimento, Neto. We've had Oliveira last night.
Last night was the Oliveiros, yeah.
They're making us work, Andrew. That's not something we're used to. Hey, I think
some people have to work in lumber yards. Some people have to work at rodeos.
Yeah, I mean,
people just have to work.
Takes all kinds, you know. Hey, Paul, they fixed the panel up in the scoreboard, like in the ribbon.
I see that.
Last night, we had a superstructure violation, and it affected a panel.
Oh.
That's all fixed.
Nascimento got a piece of that and left it into the box. Blast couldn't finish. It's going to be off of St. Louis, I think. So Blast will have a free kick here.
10-11 left to go in the second. Of a 1-1 game.
Pat Healy tried to put it over the yellow line, but the referee wouldn't allow.
Hey, what do you think of the 6:05 start time on a Saturday?
It.
I love it.
Yeah.
You especially love it if you have kids.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind if they made it 5:05. Really like it.
You have your 3 o'clock dinner and be here at 5.
Calm down there, buddy. Got plenty of game left.
Maybe visit Longhorn Steakhouse. The Golden Corral buffet.
Help me help you, okay? Here's Gibson. That's a good battle.
That's a great job by Elton to take the ball away.
And again, they pressure. Last playing with it in the back. Dantas midfield with Pedalera. And Vinny gets called.
Vinny and Gibson came together, and Gibson got the worst of it.
Now, does Vinny have a shot tonight? I don't
believe so.
Had 3 goals last night.
2.5.
Well, the question on that goal last night was, I don't think it's a question that Roque touched it, but where did he touch it?
Right, well, that's the funny part. We talked to Vinny afterwards, and he said, well, he's standing on the line, so I don't care. Give it to him. I have enough.
He did say that.
How can this end well for Nascimento? He's all the way into the blast end. And now a blue card being shown. I'm not sure who it's on.
Pepe from St. Louis.
Elton was the down player for the Blast. He's limps off. And so it'll be 2 minutes on St. Louis. Pepe will get the penalty. Time of the penalty is 5:53.
I mean, Nascimento came up. I guess I don't have a problem coming into the midfield, but he was all the way across the yellow line into the Blast end in the corner. I mean, if you just make a bad touch, there's no chance you're getting back in goal.
Blast on the power play. Blast at 71%. They were 3 for 3 last night against a woeful Ontario defense.
Here we go. We want to go to the corner, spread out wide, and try to find back post.
Donatelli, Dantas, Healy, Roque, and DeSantos for the Blast.
We talked about stats a lot, Paul, and we talked about the power play. Gary, you just mentioned it. Did we ever get an official ruling on whether or not the Blast were credited with with giving up a power play goal last night? As Pat Healy's penalty expired seconds before the goal?
I mean, I personally didn't get it, but yeah, I mean, you could probably check the box and see. Healy.
Oh, good save.
Dribbles one through. May have been touched by Acosta first. And Dantas will come back. 1:15 on the power play here for the Blast. Roque, corner for DeSantos. Vinny gets a big foot in there, but it's cleared the length of the floor by St. Louis. Coming up on a minute left on the power play. Pablo. That'll rag about 10 seconds off. Healy will trudge back upfield now. 50 seconds on the power play. Glass a little disjointed here. And that one mishit by Dantas. It'll be a goal kick with 40 seconds remaining. And an official's timeout here with 7:46 left to go. We'll take 1-2. It's the Blast one and the Ambush one. Blaster on the power play when we return. Back at you here from the CQ Arena, 7:46 left. Blast and the St. Louis Ambush tied at 1. Blast on the power play now, 40 seconds left on the penalty to the Ambush. Pepe in the box. Other games in the MASL tonight, and these will all be a bit later. The Fury go up to Harrisburg tonight, play the Heat. That game starts at 7:05 Eastern. Out west, the Coyotes and the Express at 7:05. Tomorrow night, the Comets and the Rampage from Kansas City. And the Sockers and Sonora from San Diego. The Barracudas and the Express as well. It was a big night last night for the Eastern Division, everybody playing. And now all 4 teams are separated by 1.5 games. St. Louis ball here, defending on the power play. St. Louis on the penalty kill, 64% this year. Here's Pablo in the corner. There's a turnover. See if the Blast have a chance here with 20 seconds left on the power play. Immediately to Roque. They'll play it back out now. One more chance now with 12 seconds on the power play. Cross, and it's headed away nicely by Acosta. 2 seconds, 1 second, and at the power play is over, and it'll be a goal kick for Nascimento.
Good work by St. Louis. You know, they chose to rag time in their own side of the field, which I thought was interesting, but kind of smart, because if you just kick it down the other end, how much time are you really going to kill off the clock? It's risky, but it was effective.
Well, and the other end is not as far as it used to be.
Yeah, right.
Manzella aggressively comes out with Hernandez. Here's Almeida.
I feel like Williams watching Nascimento on the other side and just be like, I want to do that. Because he's definitely being more aggressive tonight than he's been in the previous 3 home games as far as coming off his line and playing balls with his feet.
I thought Williams was terrific last night. There's Peruzzi. Santana for the Blast. Herrera, good move. He's got some wheels. Herrera. Through the box. I think he may have mishit that a bit. Pablo, oh correction, Almeida carrying deep. Santana with a chest. Oh, no call there.
Well, you know, Santana came into him, but I didn't think he shot him.
Hoxie is tripped up by the goalkeeper in the midfield, and a foul.
It has to be 2 minutes, right? It has to be 2 minutes. We're in a situation again where you're the last
He's going to
defender.
get a yellow here now, too.
Oh, look at this.
And he does.
7 minutes. He better be careful. He may get the red.
It's just not smart.
So, and of course, he won't serve either of those penalties.
That is correct.
But you're going to be down a man. You're going to be down 2 players for the power play. One man on the field and then another player off the bench. And you're going to be down a player for another 5 minutes.
It's got to be a shootout because it's on the goal.
Yeah, should it be a shootout? Time of the penalty is 9 minutes of the second.
Do we have a replay of it to see if there was another player back?
There wasn't, as far as I could see. And I'm not sure it was much of a penalty. I think it was a little bit of a grab. There wasn't a lot of contact.
And it's no shootout, but it'll be blast ball from midfield. Healy, Donatelli, Roque, Dantas, and DeSantos. By the way, the Blast with 5 power play goals this year. And they've all been shared by 2 players. 3 for Vinny, 2 for Donatelli.
We have a delay here as there weren't enough chairs in the penalty box for St. Louis, so we had to bring another chair in for them to sit down. So, chair-related delay.
So Vadim Kozakov will be one of the servers. He has not seen action in this game yet. And the other one will be Richard Schmerman, the Schmerminator, who we have not seen much of, if any, tonight. 2-minute power play here for the Blast. They're second of the game. Blast are 0 for 1 right now. And now 1 for 2. Donatelli smokes it.
Is this guy on fire or what? Wow.
What a volley, what a pass.
Yeah, DeSantos set him up, no question. But what a finish. Here we go. And you see DeSantos just waits. Dantas a little bit of a decoy and then creates some space and forget about it.
St. Louis is going to call timeout here. Try and regroup before this one gets out of hand.
Donatelli put it in just under the bar. 2-1 Blast, the power play goal. Tony's got 2 tonight. 6 for the year, 9 points. He's got 5 in the last 2 games. DeSantos with the assist. That's his first tonight, his second of the year. 4th point. It's a power play goal. That's the 5th special teams goal for the Blast in 2 nights. And most importantly, the Blast lead at 2-1.
Now Donatelli hunting the natural hat trick.
So last night he was just a shorthand. Wait, what did we say? Just a shorthanded goal, short of a cycle.
I don't know what you call it, but
He had
the natural hat trick is 3 straight goals.
Right, three in a row.
Yeah.
2-1 Blast, 5:43 left. Donatelli with both goals tonight for the Blast. Blast 1 for 2 on the power play. For an 0-5 team, I did not expect this from St. Louis.
St. Louis playing well.
That trade's going to help him.
A little bit of an unfortunate break there on the penalty. As Nascimento got caught in no man's land with Hoxie. The Blast cash in. It's kind of a dangerous time too when you're struggling. You know, You don't want to kind of give up another goal or two and kind of lose sight. It's important, I think, St. Louis respond here.
Everton plays it forward on the kickoff. And now Everton, I believe, commits the foul.
Called for a push.
Everton, of course, indoor soccer fans, arena soccer fans will remember, played many years with Milwaukee, won a couple championships there. Now he's the player coach here in St. Louis.
Coming over from Cedar Rapids.
That's right. Here's Dantas winning it. And the goalkeeper basically lying on the ground, on the turf, makes the play.
That's a foul, and that's going to be 2 minutes.
Nascimento, power play coming up for St. Louis.
And here we go, good chance here for the ambush to get right back in it.
2 minutes for tripping at 9:45 of the second. The tripper was Nascimento, the trippee was Pedalera. Power play St. Louis, 38% on the year. Pablo, Everton, Pedalera, Almeida for St. Louis. Penalty killers are Healy, Mello, Donatelli, and DeSantos. Also for St. Louis, Adamson on the unit. 1:40 left. Adamson with a touch. Here's Pablo. Glass reacting in the diamond.
Oh, kind of in the box. They're not in the diamond, they're in the box, yeah. Good block. Good work.
Top of the box by Donatelli.
Donatelli's got both. He's got both goals, and now he's blocking shots on the penalty kill.
Pretty soon he's going to be playing goalkeeper.
Good ball.
Here's Pablo. The leave behind. The goal, I believe. Yes or no? No.
They say no.
They say no. Wow.
They say post. That kind of looked like a goal.
I thought that went in, guys. I think that went off the back inside post.
That is a bad break for the ambush. 40 seconds left on the power play. Love to see that if we could later on.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that went off the red. The cage is made up as a cage.
Gotta finish that.
Pipe.
Adamson has to finish that. He had a wide open goal. 25 seconds left. That's a beautiful save by William. So they probably had a goal disallowed, and then Adamson right out in front couldn't finish.
And then Svanzella makes a save. It's called the unfortunate trifecta.
10 seconds left on the penalty for the blast.
Everton, that's blocked out by Healy. 5 seconds. Another one blocked by Healy. The penalty is over. Here comes Nascimento, and the teams are at even strength. 2-1 blast, 3 minutes left to go half.
See if the blast can take this and use this as some energy on the penalty kill. Donatelli knocks it away and then gives him the finger, a little finger wave.
Yeah, let's not the finger.
Not the finger, gave him a little finger wave, yeah.
That's the old Mike Stankovic move. No. Not today.
Dikembe Mutombo might have done it a time or two as well.
Nascimento working hard. Good pursuit. Another block by Healy.
And illegal procedure, yep.
On the blast, 2:21. Another chance for the ambush. Pablo. Goal, St. Louis. That was like a parting of the Red Sea.
Well, there's a restart goal. And there you go, St. Louis with the answer.
And Williams got the hands on it, but not enough, as that shot was just too close and just too strong to deflect with his fingers.
Time to go 12:41 of the second. Pablo has now been involved in both. Got a goal and an assist. The assist on this one goes to Pedalera. So he has been involved in both.
Well, they just exchanged positions there. Pedalera had the goal early, and then he gets the assist here on De Silva's goal, who had the assist on his goal.
Adamson sends it back in for Gibson.
See, now the ambush are buzzing.
Less than 2 minutes to go in the half.
1 minute left on the 5-minute misconduct being served by Schmerman.
The Schmerminator. Pereira. Man, the action is fast, isn't it? In the box, chance. Oh! That's the save of the year. The victim was Dos Santos.
Well,
what a save.
Dos Santos probably wants to have that back, let it cross his body and go with his right foot. Because if he does that, he's got a wide open net. Instead, try to take it with his left on the near post. And
corner kick from Mello. And Santana, the field goal is good.
Oh, he hit somebody in the upper deck. Hope
That's
they're
our
okay.
That's our first upper deck.
Well, hope they're okay.
That's right in the head. We're going to need attention up there, as she took a shot directly to the face.
Wow, she was not looking.
Yeah, certainly not expecting a ball to go all the way up there in the upper deck.
Not with that. Whew.
1:30 left. Elton back on the floor. That's his first shift since getting hit hard along the boards earlier. St. Louis wants a illegal procedure, and that's what the call will be. The Blast are arguing that it touched either the glass or St. Louis. Here's an opportunity for the ambush with 1:25 left.
Well, nice work by Mel to come over, and after Healy went down, he recovers and gets over to block the shot. Pat Healy a little shaken up.
Kick in for Everton.
If St. Louis pulls this upset off, go back and mark that save down.
Oh, that one just wide. From Almeida. Oh, correction, from Pedalera. Coming up on 1 minute now to play in the
three
second.
lines.
3 line on St. Louis. Almeida. Last time we restarted the yellow line with 1:03 left. What a battle. Bicycle kick from Dos Santos. Roque fighting for the rebound. The foul called on Lucas. Love the way Dos Santos set that one up.
I love the way that Nascimento and Roque were going to hug each other, and the referee was trying to break them up.
Can't we all just get along?
Well, they were trying to.
Yeah.
The referee wouldn't let them.
It was one of those ones where were they going to hug or were they going to punch each other? It was 50-50.
I think the referee played it cautious. Probably did the right thing. 40 seconds left in the half. Great half of soccer here. See the clock winding down. St. Louis patient. Here's Everton. Dumping one in for Pepe. Last trying to clear that out. Less than 10 seconds to go. And that should do it here. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. That's the end of the first half here in Towson, Maryland. The St. Louis ambush at 0-5. Come in with some energy. The Blast at 3-1. Coming off a win last night at home against Ontario. One of the best teams in the league against numerically one of the worst, and we're tied at 2 after the first 30 minutes.
Not for the first 30 minutes, Gary.
No, sir.
Not for the first 30 minutes. St. Louis did a great job in that first 30. Got some real good goalkeeping, a tremendous save to keep it tied. Took advantage of a couple blast mistakes, and we are 2-2 at the half.
That is indeed the score. We'll take a timeout, come back with halftime from the CQ Arena. Blast 2, St. Louis 2. Back after this.
Every day, all across Maryland, we help employers keep workers safe from accidents and injuries. We're Chesapeake Employers Insurance Company. At Chesapeake Employers, workers' compensation insurance and workplace safety have been our mission and passion for 100 years, and will be for 100 more. We help protect Maryland workers because
at the end of every workday, someone's waiting for your safe return.
Connect with your local agent or visit us online.
Third quarter action coming your way here at the CQ Arena. Blast and St. Louis tied at 2. Bit of a surprise, I would say. But
hey, Gary, if you're St. Louis, yeah, well played first half. Here's the highlights. St. Louis on the board first. Great blast from Pedalera there to score the goal. Tony Donatelli gets the blast back on the scoreboard tonight. He is on fire. He scores to make it a 1-1 tie, the 10-minute mark of the first quarter off the restart. And then Donatelli again, this time on the power play for Tony as Tony continues to stay hot. And Blast really took advantage of that power play. Great patience here by Dos Santos. A little chip on the far side, and Donatelli buries the volley to make it a 2-1 game. But a huge save from Paulo Nascimento kept Ontario down a goal, and then late, it's Pablo da Silva with the goal as Pedalera returns the favor and gets the assist at the 12:41 mark, and we are tied at 2 as we get ready to play here in the third quarter.
First half stats: shots, St. Louis 13, the Blast 14. Blocks, St. Louis 3, the Blast 6. Pat Healy had a bunch of them in the second quarter. Blast as a team had 5 blocks in the second quarter. Fouls, 6 against St. Louis, 5 against the Blast. Nascimento has made 8 saves in 10 chances for St. Louis. Venzela has made 5 saves in 6 chances for Baltimore.
By the way, Nascimento included the save of the year so far, including in that 8 saves.
No doubt. From one side of the goal, one post to the other, basically. Out of nowhere, really. On a great chance by Dos Santos right out in front. And we're tied at 2. Elsewhere, by the way, on the out-of-town scoreboard, here's a little surprise. Ontario early up in Harrisburg, leading the Heat 2-0 at the Farm Show Arena. Goals for Ontario from Charlie Gonzalez and Israel Cisse. 2-0 Ontario. Let's see if we can get you an update before we start here in the third. Now it's 2-1 as Harrisburg has come back with the goal. Ricardinho has scored to make it 2-1 at the end of one period, in the middle of the first period of play. In goal is Silva for Harrisburg, Miranda for Ontario. We'll keep you posted on that. Later tonight, it'll be the Coyotes and the Express out west.
Classic rivalry game out there.
Indeed.
Speaking of out west.
Oh no, here we go. Go ahead, try it.
No, we're good.
It's your floor.
We're good. We'll leave it there. Getting ready for the second half. St. Louis got to be energized in this game, 2-2. Chasing that first win. 1-19 last season and 0-5 so far this year.
They're on a 19-game losing streak. So think about this for a minute. A team with a 19-game losing streak comes in to play a team that has won 60 of their last 65 at home.
That's about as lopsided as it gets, right?
Be hard to imagine something else. Blast will start it off here, left to right. Santana, Healy in the back. Donatelli, Pereira, and Dantas up ahead. Here's Dantas now. Quick turn. Oh, nice. The goalkeeper with Pereira in the box made a huge play right there.
Yeah, if Nascimento lets that go, or if it gets by him, it's automatically a goal. There's the jersey tug by Gibson and a foul.
And that's some good jersey material. That just stretched a good 2 feet out.
Yes, sir.
We haven't seen a rip yet. You're absolutely right. Saw a lot of jersey pulling last night.
Trying to see who the jersey maker is. It's a good jersey.
I'm gonna go out and get me one of them jerseys. Upstairs in the store, right, Andrew?
Yeah, you got the fantastic gift shop here now. One of the benefits of coming to a modern state-of-the-art facility like CQ Arena here on the Towson University campus.
Speaking of that, before we get into the major action, Nacho Mamas after the game.
That's right. We went over, met Shannon over there, the assistant manager. Andrew and I went over. We'll be over there again tonight after the game. Gary's not going to come with us. He's got a rodeo to go to afterwards, after the game.
But you have a lot of lumber to clear.
But yeah, so come on over. If you're at the game, come on over. If you're at home watching and you're going to be at one of the games this year, stop by Nacho Mamas. Great setup over there.
It really is. It's a newer building that just opened in Towson, right off the circle. Plenty of parking around back, and food obviously great. I mean, it's keeping up the Nacho Mama's tradition. And of course, they have the Hubcap Margarita there as well. So great location, a great addition to the Towson bar scene.
Just to be clear, because I know my son and my wife are watching, I actually have dinner plans tonight. Yes, Julie, I'll be there. Okay? No rodeo for Mr. Stein.
You're not taking Julie to the rodeo tonight?
No rodeo tonight. We're going to the stockyards, though, tomorrow night. 13:40 left to go. It'll be St. Louis ball, Everton on it.
You know, it's funny. I've seen a lot of restaurants that require suit coats, but I've never seen one that required flannel before.
I used to have a cat named Flannel.
And a wardrobe.
Oh, this is going to be a mistake.
Illegal procedure against the Blast. Roquet.
No, against St. Louis.
Oh, against St. Louis, pardon me. Blast will have it top of the box here, 13:34. There's a chance to break a 2-2 tie.
Remember, Vinny Dantas scored from this exact spot on this exact goal last game. St. Louis going with a three-person wall. They probably saw that footage.
But there's a little alley there. Just wide. Dantas will run it down. St. Louis will pressure. Here's a chance. Hernandez. William with the kick save. Number 6 for William.
St. Louis continues to tiptoe through the minefield.
As opposed to the Tulips. Healy runs it down. Here's Mattingly for St. Louis, goalkeeper now Cemento to the yellow line. He took 3 or 4 shots in the first half. Gibson trying to catch up to that one. That's kicked away. That 3 lines.
Yeah, 3 line there. Just got over that yellow line.
Just a bit outside. Yellow line, 12:40 left, 2-2 is the score. Donatelli.
Oh, nice cut.
Second quarter just underway in Harrisburg. The Fury lead the Heat 2-1.
Look at that. That was impressive. All 5 guys behind the ball for St. Louis on that exchange there from Donatelli to get out of his own end. But all 5 St. Louis defenders back behind the ball in position to play D.
I mean, I haven't seen them all year, so, you know, but it's hard to imagine these guys are 0-5.
I agree. 1-24. They're going to break out of this slump. They're not that bad of a team.
Maybe they need to shrink their field. They play well on a small field. They have a good combination of size and speed. And their goalkeeper is aggressive. I think all the field should be this size. Here's Peruzzi.
Well, the smaller dimensions definitely hide some of the mistakes. Obviously, I mean, you know, it's less running to get back if you have a miscue, things like that. And they have been playing. They played, and nothing to take away from them. They played well tonight.
Kick and blast here with 11:23 left in the third. Blast have played 2 one-goal games here and a 3-goal game last night. We're tied in this one.
All 5 players for the Blast now inside the yellow line.
It was Roquet trying to make a run. Hernandez. Bad first touch, and it goes up over the boards. Kick in blast. It's a nice ball. Roquet trying to.
Yeah, that went off the post that holds up the net over top of the glass.
It's going to be a push on Healy with Everton. There's Pablo, who's been involved in both goals. Pablo and Pedalera have combined for the 2. Here's a giveaway. Pereira, 3-on-3. Pereira wide. Hoxie will play it at the yellow line. Keep possession for the Blast. Strong ball off the glass. Everton elects to play it back, and the Blast will pressure that.
What are we seeing here? This usually doesn't end very well.
And it ends in a turnover. Quickly up ahead. Ball skips through Hoxie's legs.
Right back to him. There you go.
Hoxie gets position in the corner. And this will be off of St. Louis out of bounds. No, they say off the Blast.
They're going to change it. They're going to change it.
They're going to.
No.
Oh, no, here we go. That's 5 minutes. Donatelli upset with the call, and basically slammed the ball into the ground. And now maybe another 5 minutes. There could be 2 5-minute misconducts here. There are on Donatelli and DeSantos. The Blast are going to be down 2 players, not on the field, but not available. A pair of 5-minute misconducts.
2 of the most integral part when you talk about the Blast. Donatelli, who's been on fire, is out for 5, and DeSantos, who's the dirty work man in the corners, is out for 5. So there you go.
Time of the penalties, 4:38 of the 3rd. Let's see if St. Louis can take advantage.
The thing that makes me chuckle a little bit is how many times this year already have we seen players complain for, seconds on seconds and not get anything called, and all of a sudden you send 2 guys off like that?
Well, Tony just told the officials that's his first yellow card in an 8-year career.
I believe it.
And I think he's a little upset that that's what he's going to get it for. Said, at least let me earn it.
Pedalera. That one blocked by Nascimento, so we're going to see a lot of Peruzzi and Nascimento.
It's a big 5 minutes.
Nascimento now in the midfield. He's got a goal and an assist in the
Real good
Florida
minutes
game.
last night, too, as well. Coming on late in the second and third quarters with fresh legs and getting some real good minutes. Had some good plays on defense.
Hoxie, Nascimento, Peruzzi, Mello, and Healy for the Blast. Good work by Everton. He's ageless.
How about that turn?
Nascimento, yeah. Heading back, though, is Pepe. St. Louis will slow it down. 3:45 left on the penalties to the Blast. Again, misconducts or dissents against DeSantos and Donatelli.
Well, hey, you know what? The Blast will take this with 2 of their key players on the bench. If St. Louis wants to hold the ball, that's fine.
Here's a steal. Hoxie and Peruzzi combined. Mello beaten to the ball by Almeida. Correction, by Pablo. And this will be a free kick for St. Louis. 8:37 left in the period. 3:14 on the penalties. Again, Blast, it's not a power play situation, but 2 5-minute majors for dissent leave the Blast without Donatelli and DeSantos. What was that? Oh. Nascimento basically gives it up.
Well, he did, and then while he was running back into goal, the Blast tried to restart, and St. Louis stepped in. Probably should have been a warning, but none was given.
Nascimento makes his way in front of Dantas.
Another really good play from Nascimento, who's having a great game.
Again, I'm not sure Vinny has taken a shot tonight.
He has 1.
1 shot. Here's Hernandez in the corner. Everton, Vanzella. It'll be on Everton. Free kick Blast. 2:19 left on the penalties.
That'll be a goalkeeper distribution.
Midway through the second quarter in Harrisburg, the Heat have tied up the Fury. 2-2 is the score. Lucio with the goal for the Heat.
They're going to say the ball went out off of the blast. And I'm not sure that was the right call.
Jamie Thomas on the floor now. 2 minutes left on the penalties to Donatelli and DeSantos. The keeper, Nascimento. Goal kick for Vanzella.
Timeout.
7:13 remaining in the third. And the teams have not been able to distance themselves. 2-2 is the score. Back after this. Gary Stein, Paul Mittermeier, Andrew Primrose, back with you from the CQ Arena. Blast 2, St. Louis 2. 1:51 left on the 5-minute descent penalties to Donatelli and DeSantos. Blast come out with Rayleigh, along with Mello, Roque, Peruzzi. And they got to put one more out there.
It should be a goalkeeper distribution for the Blast, right?
But shouldn't the Blast have? Oh, they do. They have Santana in there.
He's hiding in the corner.
St. Louis with Pedalera, Everton, Pablo, Almeida, and Pepe.
Kind of waiting for the Blast to kind of like bust out. It just hasn't happened.
Hard to imagine we'd see a lot of 2-2 games in an arena like this.
That's a good ball.
Nice run by Almeida. But Vanzella with the easy save. Blast elect to play it out. And that will result in a turnover midfield. Here comes the aggressive goalkeeper, Nascimento, but he gives off early to Pedalera. Here's Pablo. Trying to slip by Mello. Nice ball up ahead from Roque. No call there on the corner.
Mello fell down. Tripped over the seam in the
Turf monster got him.
That seam in the field got him.
45 seconds left on the matching descents.
Well, DeSantos and Donatelli will be rested.
Gibson with Rayleigh.
Rarely on the field, hasn't gotten many shifts tonight, haven't called his name.
20 seconds left on the penalties. Now again, they won't come out right away. They're going to have to wait for a dead ball.
When you wonder if, with the score the way it is, if deflection.
Own goal. St. Louis has the lead off a Blast player. And we've seen at least one own goal per game, I believe.
9:30 at the time of the goal. And Gary, I don't know how we go back and look this up, but this could quite possibly be the first time St. Louis has ever led against the Blast since they've been back in the league.
That's quite possible. 9 seconds left on the penalties. Let's see who gets the goal. Adamson gets the goal for St. Louis. 5th goal of the year, 6 point. St. Louis leads 3-2 late in the 3rd.
Penalties are expired, so next stoppage.
So they expired at about 5:15. Let's see how much time elapses before they're actually allowed to enter the game. No one expected this. 3-2 St. Louis, less than 5 minutes to go in the 3rd. Again, a team on a 19-game losing streak coming into Baltimore, although they haven't all been here, that is 60-5 in its last 65 home games.
I guess that answered the question I was going to ask, which is if William gets the ball, do you consider calling a timeout just to get the fresh players on the field? But did not. So now we have extended the penalties almost 45 seconds.
Yeah, almost a minute actually.
Good ball.
Again, the penalties expired at about 5:15. We're now at 4:15. Intended for Hoxie. Santana trying to make a play. Everton spins out of that. Elton for the blast.
Blast haven't scored in like 20 minutes.
There's a mistake. William had to be alert. The shot taken by Pedalera. And now Pedalera is down. The foul will be on Thomas.
This is not a stoppage, no substitution, so no release.
So now we're going on 1:45.
So now it can, and now it can because the
trainers out.
Trainers are called out. So that's actually a break for the Blast.
So both players are out now. Donatelli and DeSantis. It's actually, so the penalty was for 5 minutes and 18 seconds.
More than that.
I'm sorry, 6 minutes and 18 seconds. And let's see if both enter the game. Looks like Tony will. DeSantos will sit. Thomas will come out. Blast go with Donatelli and Hoxie, Pereira, Healy, and Elton. St. Louis with Pablo, Everton, Hernandez, Almeida, and Pepe. William had to make that. It was well meant for Pablo. Here's a steal. Too far up ahead from Pereira. Nope, trying to win one in the corner.
Great effort there. Knocked the ball back twice.
Last pressuring with Hoxie and Donatelli. Stolen away. Here's Hoxie. Too late. Goalkeeper came out. Healy. Everton. They get it out. Hernandez. Running onto it now. Still in play. William gets tangled up with the shooter, Almeida.
This is going to be a penalty on the Blast. Too many men on the field.
Yep.
Vinny ran back on. This will be the card right here, and it comes out. There's the blue. Blast will be at a man disadvantage as Vinny Dantas ran onto the field.
Wow, this will be a pivotal moment here. St. Louis 0 for 1 on the power play tonight. 3:12 left. Time of the penalty, 11:48 of the 3rd. And serving the penalty will be Dantas.
Now, Paul, is that optional, or does he have to serve it because he was the one on?
No, I think they can put whoever they want in the box.
Well, that's an interesting use.
Vinny has been bottled up tonight. One shot, no points.
You definitely want Vinny in there for possible scoring chance if the Blast can kill. Sometimes you get that opportunity late in the penalty kill where you win the ball, the guy comes out of the box and he's ahead.
Everton, Pablo, Pedalera, Almeida, and Adamson for St. Louis. There's Pablo. William with the save, and he collects it off the boards. The penalty killers for the Blast, Donatelli, Mello, DeSantos, and Healy. And this will be a foul called.
Obstruction on St. Louis.
On Pedalera.
Let's see what Donatelli does here. Oh, drag some time far side.
1:20 left on the power play for St. Louis. And that took all of 5 seconds. Now Gibson will check in for St. Louis and Adamson will sit.
JJ playing in the middle of the box there. Looking for that point, playing off his foot on the post position.
50 seconds left on the power play. Healy and Donatelli combined for the block. 35 on the power play. Here's Pedalera. .25 on the power play. Nicely done by Mello. Goal kick for Vanzella with 17 left on the power play.
Well, not a sharp power play for St. Louis. Still those 17 seconds. An eternity in this arena.
And the ball goes back to the ambush.
Ten seconds left on the penalty.
Gibson and Vanzella, foul called on Gerger Gibson. 5 seconds on the penalty. Goal kick upcoming for Vanzella, who, by the way, is a member of the Johns Hopkins University soccer coaching staff, and they were voted best in the conference. Congratulations to them. They're in the tournament.
So it looks like the Blast will kill this.
2 seconds left.
There's Vinny out of the box, but too far ahead.
Coming up on 1 minute left in the third. St. Louis getting a goal from Adamson here in the third, lead 3-2.
Nice move by Dantas. Chance now 2-on-1.
2-on-1.
He's got Dos Santos.
Pokes it just wide. Little tick-tock inside the box. Foul called on the Blast. I think St. Louis wanted a penalty there. The foul is called on Nascimento with 30 seconds remaining in the third. And an injury timeout here for St. Louis. You know, that's an interesting point you brought up, Paul, with after since St. Louis has come back in the league. I don't know, you know, it's going to be hard for us to look up if they've ever led, but I want to look up some of the scores.
Well, it's happening right now. Mello and William are now in a shouting match with the St. Louis bench. I didn't learn any of those words in Spanish class.
All right, so restart here or free kick for St. Louis. 30 seconds left.
Cemento will send one down to Everton. That'll be a foul against Mello.
Tripping foul on the last number 23, Jonathan Mello. Free kick, St. Louis.
Good spot here for the Ambush to get a late goal.
Pablo. Eight seconds and the clock winding down. 5 seconds. Everton 3 seconds. So Benzella had to make the save, and that's the end of the third quarter. So the St. Louis Ambush get a goal from Corey Adamson at the 9:30 mark of the third. It's the lone tally in the third, and they lead the Blast 3-2 after 3. We'll take a timeout, come back for the final 15 right after this.
When it comes to getting back in the game, there's only one team to turn to. The team more high school, collegiate, and professional athletes train and recover with. That team is MedStar Sports Medicine. For more than 30 years, MedStar has served as a leader in the diagnosis, treatment, and rehabilitation of orthopedic and sports-related injuries. Ranked among the top programs in the Maryland and Washington regions, we offer rapid access to athletes of all levels. Let the pros who treat the pros treat you. MedStar Sports Medicine.
Back at you here, fourth quarter action at the CQ Arena. St. Louis 3, the Blast 2. It was 2-2 at the half. And then Corey Adamson hit a goal for St. Louis at the 9:30 mark. Blast were a little disjointed in that third period, Paul. They had 2 misconducts called on Donatelli and DeSantos together. And then they had a 2-minute penalty a little later on. And they never could really put anything together in that third quarter.
0 shots.
0 shots in the third quarter. Wow. That'll speak to that. I'm going back and I'm looking at some of the scores between St. Louis and Baltimore. Last year, the Blast beat them 10-1 and 3-1. That was the 16-17 season. Year before, 15-16, Blast beat them 9-4 and 6-1. So I don't know, again, if they had a lead in either of those games, but Blast pretty much have dominated this series. That was in 15-16. Then you go back to 14-15. See if I can find this here. May not have played St. Louis that year. Did not play them in 14-15. See if we can find 13-14. Blast beat him 12-6. Well, this is a lot of work. Blast beat him 14-2. Now these games may have been the multi-point scoring. Go back one more year, 12-13. See what we can find, and then I'm done. Then you work.
Well, Gary, regardless of that, the Blast are 15 minutes away from losing their first home game ever at CQ Arena to a team that has 1 win out of what, their last 25 games?
1 win in the last 25 games, exactly right. Another goal. That's 4-2 St. Louis.
And
what is going on?
We have ourselves a story going on in Baltimore.
Glenn Graham sitting right next to us is writing it.
Well, and probably a good time to mention that we believe that St. Louis had another shorthanded or a power play goal early on that went in that wasn't counted. So it could be 5-2 easily.
The goal goes to Pedalera. He's been in on 3 of the 4. And the assist goes to Everton. Time of the goal, 13 seconds of the fourth. And we do have a big story brewing in Baltimore tonight. 4-2 St. Louis. St. Louis on a 19-game losing streak over 2 years. And this one into the back of the net. The blast with a huge answer.
That's Roquet.
And it comes at the 42-second mark, just 29 after St. Louis had a 2-goal lead.
This is good pressure in the defensive end. Roquet creates the opportunity, and with the pressure, then a nice drop from Pereira back to Roquet, who created the turnover. And just like that, the blast right back in it.
For Lucas, his first of the night, his fourth of the year. For Pereira, his first assist tonight, third of the year. Time to go 42 seconds. 4-3 St. Louis.
You guys talk about the story brewing here and the 4-3 score here up the road in Harrisburg right now. Harrisburg, Ontario. Harrisburg trailing 4-3 at halftime to the Ontario squad. So 2 4-3 scores affecting the Eastern Division right now.
Since St. Louis has come back into the arena game, the Blast are 6-0 against St. Louis. Great save by William.
How did Van Zelle recover? Wow.
Not only did he recover, but he had to fight off 2 guys to get back in there. This will be a kick in for St. Louis with 13:44 left to go. Donatelli. There's Hoxie giving chase at the midfield line. See if that goal by Roquet wakes him up a bit. Looks like the Blast have a little pep.
Again, though, St. Louis, nice job possessing the ball and really keeping the Blast at bay. When the Blast scored the goal, it's all St. Louis again, now controlling the ball.
Little role reversal here. Yeah, doing a great job of it. Pablo kicks it in. Healy. Hoxie with Hernandez, or with Pablo, I should say. And St. Louis comes away again with
Blast
it.
trapped upfield.
Healy takes one. That's unofficially now 5 blocks for Pat Healy in this game.
If he was born in Minnesota, he'd probably be in the NHL. This guy's just good at defense.
Santana had 3 last night against the Fury. Everton, sliding through. What a save by William. How was he able to slide through?
Well, they're going to say it went off of the Blast again, out of play. But I'm not sure again whether that ball went out of play or not. It's just so hard to tell on that end of the field because there's very little light down there.
Just wide of the mark from Everton. The previous shot, by the way, that William made the save on was from Mattingly.
Well, I mean, and Andrew Hoxie just got caught looking at the play, and the St. Louis player just ran right by him.
Oh, you made a great point about the lighting in that corner, and then of course the nets. This year, a new addition with the new arena, and the nets hang right directly over top of the glass. So if it just grazes the net, it's considered out of bounds, but it's hard to tell if it actually touches it or not. We've seen 2 calls go against the Blast. In that situation, the Blast are going to call timeout here.
Mazzella, and he's pointing to that corner and not liking it. 11:29 left to go in the fourth. Blast calling a timeout here. Kind of want to collect themselves and talk about it. William trying to get the team up. St. Louis took a 4-2 lead just 13 seconds into the fourth on a goal from Pedalera. The assist to Everton. And then the Blast with some good defense. 29 seconds later converting. Pereira to Roquet for the score. And we're at 4-3. We've had 3 lead changes and 2 ties in this game.
So how big of an upset would this be? You know, in the grand scheme of upsets.
I mean, in indoor soccer, it's up there. How can it be? The team hasn't won a game in over a year. It's just that. You know, I'm not saying they're bad. They're certainly not bad tonight. I mean, when was the last time they won? I mean, you can go back and look at it. I'm going to go. That's what I'm doing. You talk, I'll look.
Okay. Goalkeeper distribution for Vanzella. Vinny Dantas has been quiet tonight. And ever since, it just seems like ever since the 2 misconducts, Blast have been a bit out of sorts. And this is going to be a 3-line violation on William Vanzella. He missed Dantas. And another mistake, another miscue by the Blast. That's kind of been a theme tonight. Another great opportunity for St. Louis.
Last time they won was Friday, December 9th. What's today?
Vanzella's shaken up.
Wrist or hand?
Well, this is December 2nd, so it's been almost a year.
Almost a year. Friday, December 9th of 16, they were at home. They beat Florida 8-6. That's the last time they won. They haven't won a game since.
And, this is bad news for the Blast because they do not have a backup goalkeeper.
And William has had a problem with his hand on and off.
It's another one of those shots that came through a screen and he just saw it late. Tell me how tough William Vanzella is. He basically just said, give me the ball.
This happens at the 11:20 mark. Pereira bangs one off the boards. St. Louis the other way. And William will bend down and pick that one up, coming up on the 11-minute mark here. Let's see how that hand injury affects his distribution the rest of the game. Oh, a header from Santana just wide of the mark.
Well, his foot distribution game was doing fine.
It's excellent, as always. Here's a steal. Dantas turns. A save by a surprise Nascimento.
Man, is he good tonight.
He rejected that.
One hand. Curving all the way around. He didn't see that at all until the last second and still able to deny it. Look at that speed.
Pereira couldn't get much after that. Held in by DeSantos. He lifts one over the bar. 10:20 left in the fourth, and it'll be a distribution for Nascimento, who right now I would probably give player of the game.
Oh, yeah. Although you could make a case.
Pablo's been there.
Oh, come on. Pedalero's the one who
Pedalero.
really has been the man. I mean, he started things off for him, and he's had a hand. He's got 2 goals. He's had a hand in 3 of the 4 goals for St. Louis right now.
Well, I'm telling you this right now. I don't care how many goals Tony Donatelli has the rest of the way. I'm not talking to him at the end of the game. We have nothing left to say. Just call it the Tony Donatelli Player of the Game
award. Here's Gibson for St. Louis, coming up on 10 minutes here. A major upset in the brew in Baltimore tonight. St. Louis 4 in the Blast 3. Foul called at midfield on the Blast. That'll be on Elton. Free kick St. Louis.
The interesting thing too, Gary, as we go along this 4th quarter, if it gets to that, there's still plenty of time left. You know, when does Danny Kelly decide to go 6th attacker? And how effective could the Blast be with the sixth attacker on this field, because they've given up 4 already.
And they've never had to bring one on themselves. Here's more pressure now from the ambush. Mello to no one in particular, and the Blast give it up again.
And that's a bad mistake from Mello, as he had no pressure whatsoever. Kind of an unforced error, if you will.
Good steal by Elton.
Rayleigh finds a man, it's Mello. Quickly to the corner. Running onto it is Healy, still in play.
Oh, gotta get back now.
Gibson, that's in, no, just wide. Rebound was actually blocked by Gibson. And they'll keep it alive. St. Louis will have possession now with less than 9 minutes to go.
Well, William committed, and he was beaten, and Gibson couldn't quite get it on target.
Well, that's Williams' positioning. William didn't give him an angle at all, and that's on William knowing when and where to make that break and cut off the angle.
A whistle here as Healy gets spilled by Gibson.
Interesting to see where this is placed. And Healy, the wily veteran, puts it in front of the yellow line. Gives himself a lot more room for the distribution.
Yep, good call. That's Roque being held in the corner, no call, and it's a goalkeeper distribution for Nascimento. Have not seen much of Vinny Dantas. In fact, we may not have seen him at all since the penalty. Nascimento with the steal midfield. Works up ahead for Hoxie. Pereira runs onto it. Just wide of the mark. And the back post was Donatelli. Pereira again tries to bend it. Ball still in play off the boards, and it's kicked over the boards by St. Louis.
Off the top of the board, so it'll be a free kick on the far side.
7:58 left to go in a 4-3
so
game.
The flying header from Santana and that strike from Pereira, that close to the Blast being tied. Just can't finish tonight.
Oxy wide on the far side.
Comes out for Nascimento, and what a save by the other Nascimento. Boy, he is on fire tonight, their goalkeeper. Let's see which way.
Stay here.
Kick in.
Good Blast.
Just wide.
Good idea from Donatelli.
Hoxie on the back post. That could be a handball.
Yeah.
Everybody pretty much stunned here in this arena.
I think so. I think so. It's just kind of a stunned haze hanging over the building.
I got to check the record and just make sure this team is 0-5. And a timeout on the floor. We'll take it 2 with 7:44 remaining in the game. The ambush 4 and the Blast 3. Back after this.
Every day, all across Maryland, we help employers keep workers safe from accidents and injuries. We're Chesapeake Employers Insurance Company. At Chesapeake Employers, workers' compensation insurance and workplace safety have been our mission and passion for 100 years, and will be for 100 more. We help protect Maryland workers because
at the end of every workday, someone's waiting for your safe return.
Connect with your local agent or visit us online.
Just underway in the third. Ontario leading the Heat 4-3. Lucio has 2 goals for Harrisburg in that game. Ontario led by Charlie Gonzalez with 2. And Jinho Kim, the former Blast player, has 2 assists. Play is back in. Blast will chase. Lewis in some trouble here. Santana almost pokes it in. The Blast create the turnover.
We certainly haven't seen very many mistakes from St. Louis tonight. It's been a few, but every time Nascimento has been right there to bail him out.
There's Pereira, hornswoggled down.
And here comes Vinny Dantas onto the field.
First time we've seen Vinny in quite a while. As the Blast change, Dantas, Elton, DeSanto stays out there along with Thomas and Mello. Mello gets a foot on it, but Gibson trying to make a play at the yellow line. Thomas been playing tough last couple nights. Here's Elton. All that with 6:57 left to go.
All of a sudden, the Blast have elevated their intensity a bit.
Free kick St. Louis, back to the keeper.
Here's a giveaway by the ambush.
Elton on the far side for the Blast. If the Blast do end up going to a 6 attacker, I'm just going to assume it's going to be Pat Healy.
Usually is. Been looking down here. Haven't seen the jersey make an appearance yet. So.
It's a little early.
Don't think. Well, I mean, even the equipment prep.
Bicycle, just wide. That one from Dantas.
Yeah, Nascimento had no chance there.
Wow.
A bullet.
Well-meant shot.
By Pedalera. This one over the boards. It'll go with the Blast now. 6:05 left to go. Blast have scored 1 goal this half. Last Blast goal is at the 42-second mark of the fourth. Blast have scored 1 goal in the last 30 minutes of play. Flying in is Healy. Donatelli elects to play it back to the goalkeeper.
Now you're starting to see the Blast take some chances. That's a foul.
Foul called on Almeida. Last one.
It's a good foul, though.
And again, Healy moves the ball to the other side of the yellow line. Well done.
Hernandez winning a ball from Santana. Now back in for St. Louis. Good hustle by Santana. And now some extracurricular stuff, as it were, Mattingly involved. I think he points free kick Blast.
The goalkeeper.
Quick outlet. The goalkeeper, what's he doing? That one wide, one touch, nope, got to collect it.
I don't know what Nascimento came all the way down this end of the field to, was he helping his player? Or?
Yeah, he was trying to break up the fight.
Nascimento rebound, it's in! Martinez did it! He's tied it up!
Now back-to-back goals for Lucas Roque, and finally the Blast get even.
Time of the goal, 10:04 of the fourth. Okay, just battled.
This whole scenario started. Nascimento, what's he doing over here in the offensive end?
Well, there was an argument. The St. Louis team arguing down here that it should not have been the Blast ball under distribution on the play that started with Nelson knocking the ball, and they said that it came off Nelson. St. Louis really disagreed with that. And then there was a slight scuffle afterwards, and Nascimento went on and all the way down. And now St. Louis is calling a timeout.
We've seen some strange stuff here tonight.
Time of the goal, 10:04, Roque. And the assist goes to Dos Santos. That's 2 assists tonight for Adriano. Okay, now 5 goals on the year, 6 points. Dos Santos with 3 assists on the year, also 6 points. Glass has scored the last 2 to tie it up. It's our 3rd tie. 3 ties and 3 lead changes in this game. It's never, well, I was going to say it's never been more than a 1-goal game, but that's not true. Pedalera, early in the 4th, made it 4-2.
Well, if you're St. Louis, this is where that culture of losing comes in, where you have to break out of that. When you start to go down, when things go against you, you say, here we go again. And when you're the Blast and you've been down and you win so much, you say, you know what, we can come back from this, we're okay.
Yeah,
when you do that in Sonora, you're not going to panic when you're home against St. Louis.
And it's all about who's going to make the next play.
Right, so those cultures kind of are a big momentum in either direction for these two teams, as you see a culture of losing versus a culture of winning.
That's kind of the interesting storyline to watch here in the last 5 minutes.
Can St. Louis break that culture, and can the Blast come through with another big moment? We're all tied up at 4 with less than 5 minutes to go in the game. There's Pablo for St. Louis.
I mean, after you're down 11 in the championship game in Sonora, knowing you have to not only score to equalize, but then win overtime and win a 3rd mini game, and you come back and do that, there's not much else that's going to phase you.
It's called, I think it's called battle testing.
There's a steal. Oxy. Just high again with Nascimento. Oh! Nascimento had to go high there.
And that kind of play right there is what we're talking about. Just
Why is he out there?
A poor pass cross field that leads to an opportunity for the Blast. And that's kind of been a theme tonight, is the Blast have not been able to finish when St. Louis has made mistakes. They've limited them, but when they've made mistakes, the Blast either have not finished or Nascimento has played outstanding.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got to give a lot of credit to that, to Nascimento.
Did Healy just take that one off the head?
I believe so.
Whoa, that was a rocket.
And this is a great opportunity. I'm not sure this is the right spot for the ball, but this is a great opportunity.
This is not the right spot for the ball.
It should be over.
It should be in the corner.
If you see where the security guard is standing to where the ball went out of play.
That's right. It's outside the flag.
It's what, a good 6-7 feet?
It should be where the security guard is standing right now in the red.
Not actually where he's standing, but
right
on the field, right?
We wonder who that was advantaged, but now it doesn't matter. Moot point is ball just passed back.
They didn't take advantage of that situation.
Mello battling. We're tied up with 3:30 left to go.
The other great aspect of the small field, even if somebody scores here,
it's far from
never over.
William, chest save. There's the outlet. Oxy, Glass along the boards. There's some speed.
Rayleigh's got to get to the far side.
Take down.
Mello was tripped up. Free kick Blast, 3:19 left.
Timeout Blast.
We'll keep it here in a 4-4 game.
Good timeout there as the Blast were on the end of an extended shift. Hoxie was just a step away from getting out on a sub, and everybody's kind of sucking wind, so good chance to get a substitution in, get fresh legs, and not to mention talk about a dangerous restart.
Kind of trying to keep my eye on Van Zella too, as he's going forward after the apparent hand injuries. He's just doesn't look right. He made that save with his chest earlier a few seconds ago. Probably a ball he catches most times.
Meanwhile, in Harrisburg, the Heat have tied it up. The Heat and Ontario tied at 4. Ricardinho with his 2nd goal tonight. 6 minutes into the 3rd.
We'll see what kind of play the Blast draw up here off of this restart.
They'll have it in the far corner with 3:19 left to go. St. Louis has fought this one tooth and nail tonight. Kudos to them.
Firepower on the field for the Blast. Dantas, Donatelli, Dos Santos, Juan Pereira, and Pat Healy will trigger here.
St. Louis counters with Everton. Pablo.
But I'll tell you what, Everton and Pablo have been on the field a lot tonight, haven't they? That's the other thing you have to wonder as this game goes on. What those two guys have left in the tank.
Mattingly and Duarte as well. Here's Healy. Donatelli comes free. That was blocked.
It's a good block
by Duarte. And the Blast give it up. DeSantos wanted a foul.
Well, and DeSantos made the mistake. Paul, you've been railing about
Exactly.
all year.
You know,
got to keep playing.
Keep playing. And luckily, St. Louis unable to capitalize.
Yet. Flying in is Pereira. Dantas, nice touch. Everton a step in front of Dantas, 2:45 left.
No,
Call that.
ball.
Yes, they do.
Oh, ball.
Handball.
Oh, handball on St. Louis. Free kick.
Restart.
Here come the Blast, 2-on-1. DeSantos off the boards in the box. No one there for the Blast. Here they come the other way. They've got 3-on-2. Here's the cut, 1-on-1. Oh, broken up by Donatelli. It's in play. It's still in play. Dantas. Let's see what this call is.
Are you
Nothing.
kidding me?
No call. Wide of the mark. Dantas is still down at the arc on the far side. Still down, and finally the official makes a call. Timeout with 2:15 left, and Vinny is lying face down on the floor.
That could be the worst no call I've ever seen in my life.
He drop kicked him from the bench.
He came off the change off the bench, never made a play for the ball, and just wiped Dantas off his feet.
Here it is.
Comes off the bench, doesn't play the ball. Well, see, there you go. He might have gotten the ball first before he wiped Dantas. It was just a bad spot and a bad situation for the Blast because they were changing.
2:15 left in regulation. We're tied at 4. Dantas with a major spill, and he has now been turned over, so he's on his back. The trainers are out there.
I don't think I've ever seen that before, where you have a situation where you have a player running down the field and a guy off the bench as the ball's coming through.
Right, he's just coming off the bench.
And the question is, was there a guy changing at that point in the other door, or was he the sixth man on the field? Because if he was, here's the replay.
I did a count. There's 5.
Now watch here. Who's changing with him? Because there's 5 on the field already.
4,
Who came off?
They only had 5.
So they were short a player?
I think the substitution had happened
earlier.
before.
Happened earlier. Okay.
Hey,
because I did the count right away when that happened because I thought it was a player coming off the bench as just like desperation, like Mike Tomlin stepping on the field. But
hey, if we can re-rack that one more time, I just want to make a point real quick.
Have you ever seen that before?
No, I've never seen it before, but watch this for a second. So, all right, so we're going to re-rack it, and Vinny will get it. Now watch. The last thing he's thinking about is a guy coming off the bench.
Yeah.
That's the last thing on his mind. You would never expect that. And all of a sudden. So think about his body has no time to anticipate that.
It's a blindside car crash. So if you go back to the beginning, if we run that replay one more time, we go back to the back, there were 3 players in the offensive zone. There was 1 player along the boards that he beat, and the 5th player that came on. So not a 6th player coming on, but still a scary injury, and it looks like Vinny holding his neck as he steps off here. And he's going to go into the bench. Good news is he's staying on the bench, not going off the field.
Wow.
Scary moment for the Blast here. We'll monitor that situation. But back to the game. 2:15 remaining. It'll be Blast ball. And no call.
Well, I mean,
no call.
You know, to be fair to the officials, I mean, he did get the ball first on the play, and I've never seen that before.
Ooh, and Healy trying to save that ball from going out of bounds.
That could have been very, very ugly.
Actually had a foot and a leg over the boards.
And ironically, it's the Blast
and
ball.
he saved it.
Well, I don't think he did. I think it was off St. Louis anyway. There's a hold going on as Santana's being held around the goal mouth.
This is a crazy game. 2:08 left. Okay, trying to turn. But what a wall in front of Nascimento. Foul called on the Blast. It was a quick restart. Thomas will pressure that. Blast steal! Blast 2-on-1. Thomas scores!
Jamie Thomas, how about the patience right there of Jamie Thomas to pull the trigger at the last second.
Time to go 13:09. Thomas with the takeaway and Thomas with the score.
Here's a replay. Great anticipation. It was Mello who created that steal, and then with the left foot, Thomas goes far post. And this one's far from over with 1:51 left. What a bizarre night.
And now Everton puts the 6th attacker jersey on for St. Louis, and this creates a whole new set of drama for the Blast. Mello gets the assist. St. Louis now with the 6th attacker. Blast gave up 2 6th attacker goals against Cedar Rapids, 2 6th attacker goals against Syracuse. They scored a 6th attacker against Florida, and then Ontario wasn't able to use the 6th attacker last night.
And they're saying that St. Louis has called a timeout.
Blast have scored 3 straight goals to take a 5-4 lead. The last 2 coming within the last 3 minutes.
Havertz trying to argue he didn't call the timeout, but one of the players on his team or one of the...
Yeah, the referee was signaling that one of the players on the bench called the timeout.
Yeah, I mean, he clearly walked over and asked and talked about it several times. And it was clear, so... And that's big because that's their last one, so they don't have another timeout remaining.
Everton's going to put the 6th attacker jersey on. What a play by Mello to step in and make that steal along the near boards. I just want to get back to that play with Dantas. I've just never seen a play like that before.
It's like in football, if a guy will come off the sideline and make a tackle on a guy running downfield for a touchdown.
Even like, you know, I'm a huge hockey fan, and you don't see that very often either, where you got a guy skating up the ice, and all of a sudden the guy comes off the bench and just blindsides him.
I want to go
because you know that's a you know, change on the fly thing too.
I want to go back to your comment, both of your comments about the culture of these teams.
Yeah.
You know, with the Blast, who's going to make the play? And St. Louis, oh, here we go again. 6th attacker is Everton. Blast have surrendered 4 6th attacker goals this year.
At home.
I'm telling you, the theory here is attack, pressure the ball, try for steals, and try to score as much as you can. It's just so hard to defend on this field.
Paul, we didn't ask, was the number 5?
Yes.
It's in permanent marker, isn't it?
No, I tried to hand Danny Kelly a permanent marker today. They wouldn't let me do it.
That's blocked by the Blast, and Everton has to backpedal. 1:05 left. Blast with a huge comeback here. 3 goals in the 4th quarter. That was well met by Gibson.
Santana. Manzella was beaten, and Santana kicked it off the line.
Gibson with Dos Santos, back to Almeida. 45 seconds to play. 6th attacker time for St. Louis. Here's Pablo. Everton. 35.
Who wants to shoot the ball?
Pablo. Santana with the block. Kick in St. Louis, 26 seconds left. Mello. Donatelli, hit it. Oh! St. Louis still alive. Pablo Goal kick, William. 9 seconds left.
A huge break there for the Blast that they couldn't keep it on frame or in the arena, in the field of play. So it's a goalkeeper distribution.
DeSantos with Everton back.
Keep it in the corner.
That's it. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. The Blast have escaped. The winning culture comes through for Baltimore tonight. What a game.
Well, it's just crazy.
I've seen things tonight I've never seen before.
We just hope Vinny Dantas is okay.
I mean, that was the capper for me. You can take me now because now I've seen it all.
I think Dantas will most likely be in the concussion protocol this week.
Wow. 5-4 Blast. Haven't even thought about a player of the game.
Well, I'm thinking Lucas Roque, who came back and got the Blast when they were down 4-2, got him back to even at 4-4.
Gotta be.
Yeah, you know.
We'll let Andrew take care of that in a moment. Blast trailed this one 4-2 after a Pedalera goal at the 13-second mark of the fourth.
Or possibly Jamie Thomas, who's down there with Andrew right now.
Huge goal right there. And then Roque twice at 42 and 10:04 to tie it. And then the steal by Mello with about a minute and a half left. Thomas deposited with the left. 5-4 is the final. And Andrew Primrose standing by with Jamie Thomas, the game-winning goal for the Blast tonight. And signing an autograph on the field right now. Lower right of your screen.
Well, we're going to go saving the game first. And this was a big one. Vanzella scrambling to get back, works his way around two players, comes out deep, outside into the arc, and gets it with the body and kicks it out, or chests it out of play.
Let's go down to the field now. Andrew Primrose standing by with our player of the game. And what a game.
Jamie, there we go. Jamie, 4 goals in your career. Was that the biggest goal you've ever scored?
Yeah, most likely. Just to get it in the last couple of minutes and put our team up top, that's a huge goal.
You tried to beg off player of the game. You put it out other players that played well. Big goal there. You were down 2 goals in the fourth quarter. What's the mentality feeling like you guys could come back?
It's just coach saying, you know, keep our composure, play our game. The goals will come. We got our chances. And eventually they did come.
What is it like being a young guy on a team like this, the winning culture here in Baltimore? What is your thought process as you work to get minutes and playing games like this?
Well, first off, it's a great opportunity to play here, play in front of the fans. You know, the mentality here is we're here to win a championship, and so they expect a lot from each and every player, and so that's what I take in every game.
Well, congratulations, you guys stay in first place. Big goal for you tonight. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Jamie Thomas, our player of the game. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, James. Paul, this was unbelievable.
Yeah, you know, what you love most about that goal by Jamie Thomas was his patience. He waited for Nascimento to make a commitment, and once he did, he was able to finish with the left foot, put it into the far post, and get the win, get the Blast out of here with a win against a hard-fought win against a team in St. Louis that played very well tonight. Nothing to be ashamed of.
20 losses in a row now for St. Louis. Blast unbeaten at home this year. 2 issues as we look forward to next week, as the Blast will be home on the 10th. We'll tell you about that in a moment. Injuries. We don't know the situation with Dantas right now. We'll have to monitor that. But Vanzella's hand.
The hand with Vanzella, no question. Where it is, obviously, you played sports. You play, you get the adrenaline going, you fight through it while you're playing, but then what happens after the fact? And I think it's going to have to monitor that this week before the Blast play a pretty big game in a division next Sunday against the Florida Tropics.
Final stats here, shots, St. Louis 34, Blast 23. Blast, by the way, were totally outplayed in the third quarter. No shots in the third, but they came back with 9 in the fourth. St. Louis had 12 in the fourth. Blocks, the ambush 5, the Blast 16 blocks in this game.
In what bizarro world does the Blast not have a shot on goal on this field?
Bizarro.
Right?
Another thing to think about with this game.
That's just crazy.
16 blocks for the Blast. Fouls, 14, 13 Blast. Saves, both keepers were tremendous tonight. Vanzella, 14 saves and 18 chances. And Nascimento had 12 saves and 17 chances. What a weekend for William. Had 32 saves in 41 chances this weekend.
I'll tell you what, he worked hard for every one of them tonight. Made some spectacular ones. Was aggressive. I think Andrew touched on that a little bit early on. He was coming off his line, making plays outside the box, and then making plays as well with his hands inside the box and getting the Blast to a 5-4 win.
That'll wrap it up here from the CQ Arena, our final, the Blast 5, St. Louis 4. Our next broadcast will be a week from tomorrow, Sunday afternoon. Special game time from CQ, 3:05. Is it 3 or 4? 3:05 game time from the CQ Arena. That's a big day for Baltimore.